All right. Hello, everybody. It is time to talk about our breath, something that we take for granted, I think, every moment. Boy, we just breathe. This is something that we just do, but you can use your breath as a tool to help you work through overwhelm, work through anxiety, work through high stress moments, weeks, months, years, and help your body to regulate stress, because this is something that is pretty much always going to be a part of our life and our story as special needs moms. And so Anna and I are here today to share a little bit about how we have used breath in our life to help just keep us centered and grounded, and what this looks like, what this feels like for us, and teach you a little bit about how you can start using this today. If you are stressed right now, it's going to feel great. And we'll be applying this on Wednesday when we come together for our yoga for stress release. It's going to be so good. So Anna, let's talk about breathing. We were just chatting before we came on about when we first discovered this in our life. And both of us, it was before we became moms, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I think we both said in college, right? And for me, I had a lot of test anxiety in college, and through my exercise science program, I was going through both yoga and Pilates education, and was just kind of blown away by the breath work and how when I walked out of that class, the calm I felt, but also how my body was releasing so much of the stress that it was holding on to. And I always like to tell people, like, I'm good here, but my body never lies. So my hips will be hurting, my low back will be hurting. And until I make that connection to my body with my breath and give it permission. So in my yoga and Pilates classes I teach, I talk about let your breath give your body permission to release stress. And I really feel like your breath does do that. It communicates with your body, either calm or anxious. When you're starting to feel anxious, you breathe really quick and shallow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And I think that's a good place to start, because we've been talking in this group, if you've been following along any of the posts, about how we hold on to tension. And this is something that just happens, not a choice that we make. It's a system in our body, this protective, like, stress fight or flight response that our body has, where we are basically in high stress situations where we feel threatened or unsafe or unsure. Our body starts pumping this hormone into our muscles to get ready, like, to fight, to run away, to go for it. And so it's literally like this tensing up of your muscles so that you're ready to go on an instant if you need to fight. This is a primal thing that has just been a part of us because of our DNA. But now this happens, and what's interesting is that we just hold on to that in our body, sometimes completely unconsciously. And my story, when I first started yoga, I had been in sports, and I was in college also, and was in fitness classes, and was just always go, 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 running all over the place because that's what I love to do. And I had no idea. I was flexible. This is an interesting thing for me because I was a cheerleader and in gymnastics and all that. I was really flexible. But then I got into a yoga class and I was like, oh, this is cool. I was really bendy. And then we got to the end and we moved into this time of breath and relaxation, like guided relaxation. And I had never actually acknowledged or become aware of how much I was holding on to this. And as we breathed and got into this breath work that we're going to talk a little bit about today, all of a sudden it felt like things were just melting off of me. And I got there only because I created space in this yoga class to be able to breathe and be still and reconnect mentally with my body. And in that space, with that equation, like all of a sudden years and years and years of tension started to melt away. And now as a mom, we use this all the time, don't we? Because
I could use it even more, just that calming breath. I have my kids learning to do it. So that's, a great coping mechanism instead of reacting. When you're starting to feel, I talk about with my 10-year-old, when you're starting to feel like you feel something here, you're feeling maybe a little angry, or you're feeling frustrated. This is when that's your body telling you it's time to pause. And how great that we have these tools now that are out there, that there was nothing like that when I was a kid, to teach those really great coping mechanisms for stress. And our world, we have a lot of inputs. And so I think life can be really fast and fast paced, which increases stress, and also where we just don't naturally pause throughout our day to do that. 20, 30 years ago, I think there just was more time. My parents had more time. They'd be out in the yard and you're just naturally breathing deep. But now we are just a faster paced life.
And so everybody, like we see this across the board with parents, with, career women, moms, that everybody's stress level is higher. But then, we've been talking about how for us, there's just all these other components. There's extra doctor's appointments, there's health concerns, like, is my child being cared for at school? They can't communicate. He can't communicate. Do they know what he needs? Like, is he okay? Is he angry? He's like, there's just so many extra worries that this is so revved up for us. And so understanding this tool, that it's available for you, is absolutely critical, because over time you will experience the impact in your body of holding on to stress and tension. We saw it in the survey. Migraines, and I've talked to so many moms over the last couple of weeks, migraines, jaw pain, like grinding, neck tension, shoulder tension. Like, how many of you, I would just be sitting there and I'm like this. My husband's like, what's wrong? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you look like you're bracing for somebody to punch you. I'm like, what? And I don't even realize it. Like that I'm on guard all the time. It's back, it's hips, it's knees, it's all these things. And sometimes even digestive distress, and, just it can impact us in so many ways. So we want to give you this tool today as an introduction to a practice that will be ongoing for you, but so that you know that whether you know that you are dealing with chronic stress, and maybe like me, where you deal with anxiety and panic attacks and you need a strategy, or just, I'm want to find a way to let go of some of this and feel better and find calm and ease. This is going to help you. So the first thing when we look at breath work and regulating breathing is where your breath is coming in and going out, and where it is going when you breathe in. So Anna, what happens when we are in a stress response? What do most of us typically do with our breath?
Yeah, we breathe really fast. We tend to breathe very shallow. We don't use our lungs to their full capacity, which creates even more stress, because now your body is fighting to get air. So it's going to affect all of life. So once you start breathing really shallow here, everything gets tight, so all of those, muscles, because those muscles are getting more and more tense. And if that's happening many, many times throughout the body or throughout the day, they're going to cause that pain and the migraines and more grinding at night. So it's just, and I've had clients in the past, I think I talked about this on a different call. I had a gal who came, and it was, to see me from stress. She had actually had muscle deterioration through her upper body. And it was like 30 years of breathing shallow. And her doctor was like, you need to go see a personal trainer and learn to breathe. And it really changed things for her. And for her to just learn, I'm safe. I can take these deep breaths. And the deep breath does communicate with your body. You're safe. It's okay. You're going to be okay. And that brings this calming globally to all of your systems. So if we can think about our breath as a communicator, I think that's really important. What are you communicating to your body to help it, or just staying in it? I think it's easy just to stay frazzled. I don't know what to do, but that's communicating with your body too in a really hard way. So
yeah, love that. So if this is brand new to you, a really good way to create that awareness, if you've never really paid attention to your breathing, it's like, well, I don't know where I'm breathing. Putting a hand on your chest, and then I've got my other just on my stomach, and just noticing with your hands there for a moment when you breathe, where do you feel movement? How fast is your breathing coming and going? And for most of us, like Anna said, this top hand is really going to be the one that's, lifting, expanding, maybe really quick breath. And so our breath responds to our nervous system, but our breath also impacts our nervous system. So when we start to breathe to create calm and tension release in our body, we want to send our breath in through our nose. So you just gently close your mouth, and just breathing in and out through your nose for a second. You may notice that you have to breathe a little bit slower to get enough air in. And then breathing from your nose and trying to send that all the way down into your diaphragm, down in your stomach, right where that bottom hand is, so that your stomach presses out into that hand. This is really challenging if you're not used to it. So just be patient as you try to figure that out. For me, a lot of times, like, my rib cage will go as I try to breathe deeper, but it's mindfully like pushing down into the belly, sending the breath down in there. And here's the why behind this as you keep practicing that. We have a nerve, it's called our vagus nerve in our central nervous system, runs all throughout your body, but a lot of that lands down in your stomach. And so we can breathe down into that diaphragm, that deep belly breath, that starts to massage and stimulate the vagus nerve. When that happens, it signals to your brain that you're safe, that you're good, and your body will start to stop producing that stress hormone, and you'll start to feel instantly more calm. Are you feeling that now, Anna?
yes, I love breathing, but I struggle too to take time to do it. So
yeah. So sometimes in breath work, you can practice counting and trying to lengthen the breath. Today, we're not going to focus on that, because sometimes that can feel really stressful. Because for you, if you're really in a quick, shallow breath, trying to hold and breathe for like 4 counts is way too much. So first, breathing in through the nose, sending it down into the belly. And then the other piece that you can practice that really makes an impact on your nervous system is after you breathe in, just hold your breath for maybe 1 or 2 counts before you breathe out. That little bit of a pause there is also going to slow down the rate of your breathing. And that is my absolute favorite strategy for when I am in high stress, high anxiety. Because instantly, as you hold that pressure with that full breath, again, it's developing that vagus nerve and helping you to be able to respond, and your body will react to that and calm down. Moves your nervous system into a place of rest and digest instead of that stress response. And as you get better at that, you may be able to hold that pause in between the breaths a little bit longer. Right now, it might just be 1 second before you feel like you have to breathe out. But with time and practice, you can lengthen and extend that hold, maybe to 3 counts, 4 counts, 10 counts, without any judgment of yourself or pressure to perform right now. Just noticing how your body feels as you breathe. So good. If you want to take your hands off now and just notice maybe what's happened just with your upper body and your neck. You may feel that if you roll your shoulders out, you just feel a little bit less tightness and tension there. Not too long ago, I had to use that breathe and hold strategy when I was having a panic attack with my kids. We were doing some medical work and I just went straight into panic, had to run out of the room. And I couldn't at that point get myself where I needed to go, but a doctor saw me, ran in after me, and he said, breathe in and hold. That was the only words that he said. He said, I'm right here with you. Breathe in and hold your breath. And it changed everything in an instant for me, just because I was able to take my brain out of that overwhelm, panic, and into that place of calm. So whether you're trying to get your brain to turn off at night because you can't stop thinking about all the things when you want to go to sleep, or if you are with your child in a hard situation, behaviorally or medically, and you're feeling everything just mounting, or if it's something that you want to practice every day, maybe at the beginning of your day or in lunch break, just taking a minute, 2 minutes if you want, and check in, breathe in through your nose, down into your belly, hold as long as you want to, and let it go. And that regular practice can absolutely change everything for how you're feeling. So Yay. This week on Wednesday, we're going to come together and also introduce some movements, because the combination of getting your nervous system into that calm place, plus taking some slow, gentle stretching movements to actually release tension from your back and your shoulders, it is the most beautiful experience ever. And I can't wait to share that with you. Anna, how are you feeling?
Great. It's one of my goals for this week too. Actually, was bringing this to more movements. I think I do spend often more time coaching my kiddos in, okay, before we do math, we're going to breathe. But yeah, I have a couple situations this week that I'm planning to just renew my calming breath. I've been also applying just some calming movements that also talk to my body in those higher stress situations. So yeah, our brain and our bodies create these neural pathways. And so sometimes how our body responds is just a habit to that situation. And we have to do a little bit of retraining. So excited this, is the start to the week. And I'm glad you'll have that class for women to hop into. And hopefully we can all just 1 minute before you enter that tough phone call, or I need to call my dermatologist today and cancel my next surgery, and I was feeling anxious about it. And so just applying that's been kind of a trauma for me. So taking that breath into that call and is a great place. So
amazing. Yeah. So you guys, let us know in the comments how this went for you. Let's say if this worked for you, but how did this go for you? If this was your first time and this felt frustrating, like let us know. That is okay. If this felt really good, any questions that you have, we would love to hear about your experience with this. And like Anna said, regular practice with this really does help develop the skill. And we're going to come together on Wednesday. We have this free 20-minute yoga session, but we have a series of gentle yoga sessions where we do this. We work on the breath, we work on movement, and I'm so excited to be bringing these. We did this last year for the first time with a group of moms, and it was awesome. And so we're going to do this again, and we'll learn more about that. I'll be sharing more about that in the next week or so. If you want guidance in making this a regular part of your life, there's an opportunity for us to help you with that. So stay tuned. Can't wait to hear how this went for you guys. And Wednesday, the live event is here in our Facebook group. So you can RSVP on that. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll be here in the group just like this live, and the recording will be here after. If for some reason that live time doesn't work, you can always pop back in and watch later. Anna, thanks for breathing with me today. I feel so good. I'm ready for my week now.
Yeah, I know it's always fun to have someone else coach you through it. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Okay, have a fabulous week, everybody, and I will see you Wednesday.